We celebrate Constitution Day. It was started only 10 years back. On 26 November, we celebrate Constitution Day. Because that day, we got the best of human beings who can exploit their talent. Best. All will be equal before law. All will get same opportunities. No one will be above law. All will be treated on merit. There will be no patronage. There will be no privilege pedigree. Because before independence, we had people who had privileges, who had immunities. So all were not equal. So this is a gift to you. So believe in that. Find out why 26 November is celebrated as Constitution Day. You also keep in mind why we are having Constitution Hatya Divas. Because during emergency, everything we got from the Constitution, our fundamental rights, our liberties, our sense of equality, was tapped. People were jailed. They could not go to court. This happened for 21 months. You are too young to know about it. But you need to know about it. Chaudhary Charan Singh became Prime Minister. He was jailed during emergency. Atal Bihari Vajpayee became Prime Minister. He was jailed during emergency. You get my point? All celebrated leaders of this country, patriots, were jailed. You need to know about it. Because unless you know about your nation, its geography, its history, you will not be learning outside also. The other day, which we celebrate, is a day that's more critical. That reminds us, the reminder is horrific. Emergency was imposed in this country. For 21 months, people who loved the nation, who loved democracy, who breathed nationalism, and many of them were freedom fighters, were put behind jail. No access to justice, no freedom rights for them. High courts came up to the occasion, 9 in number, that emergency cannot put on hold fundamental rights of the people. The highest court of the land, the Supreme Court, caved in. It held otherwise. It was a litmus test for Supreme Court. It's a failure, it will never be able to come out of it. And we suffered emergency. The present generation, I see you on the right in the gallery, is not aware of it. How tough it was when newspapers went without editorial, when censorship was complete, where you could not breathe freedom. And therefore, June 25 has been declared to be remembered as Constitution Hatya Divas. I am sure members of the Assembly will take note of it. And the celebration of these two events has to be with education being spread. It is only with the knowledge of what happened in the past that we can be in cautionary mode. Let me start with one observation imparted by your Vice Chancellor. He reflected rightly that a distinguished judge, a jurist, H.R. Khanna, was your alumnus. That reminds me and should remind us always why in this country we are celebrating 2 days. And those 2 days are, one is Constitution Day and the second is Svidhan Hatya Divas. Why do we do that? We do it with a purpose. Because on 26th November 1949, the Constitution was adopted. Young boys and girls need to be reminded because that Constitution was twisted, strained, molded, revised on 25th June 1975. That was the darkest period in human history of democratic world. I say darkest because the highest court of the land held, ignoring verdict of 9 high courts. 9 high courts were uniform that in democracy fundamental rights can never be put on hold. Access to judiciary cannot be moderated, much less denied. Being a fundamental right under Article 32 of the Constitution. But that was done. I would not go more on that. But what was held by the Supreme Court? Executive of the day is sole arbiter of fundamental rights. It can suspend them for as much time as it likes. There was one dissent voice. Dissent, D-E-C-E-N-T, and dissent, D-I-S-S-E-N-T. And that emanated from an alumnus of this place. Boys and girls, remember what was written at that point of time in the New York Times editorial. I quote from the editorial. If India ever finds its way back to freedom and democracy that were proud hallmarks of its first 18 years as an independent nation, someone will surely erect a monument to Justice S.R. Khanna, unquote. It is constitutional ordainment that the Parliament, after shaping legislation, must also ensure legislation trajectory in right direction. As guardians of democracy, we bear the sacred duty to honor our citizens' rights, aspirations, and ceaselessly pursue their dreams by making optimal contributions inspired by national welfare and public interest. It is for this that June 25 is now set to be celebrated every year, reminding us of the emergency, the darkest period when fundamental rights of citizens were suspended, people were detained without any reason, and civil rights were violated. Honorable members, all citizens, particularly members of Parliament, must amplify our nation's resonance on the world stage.